We not talking.
Oh, yeah. No. Okay, everybody, you see how gorgeous my co-host is? Okay. And she's stunning. But does anybody notice anything different about anything about her? She got a little bit stressed today. And she sent me a video and said, "Don't be mad." And I sent a voice message back, which I don't normally do. And she is now able to build a castle because of all the F bombs I was dropping.
Oh, it was so funny. It truly was hilarious. But
I swear.
I think it's like my last OCD thing that I have, and we have the perfect guest on tonight.
Yes, we do.
That can hopefully stop me from doing this before I'm totally in butch, like a shaved head, because that's what's next.
You'd still look stunning with a shaved head, just saying. But
I'm
get
telling
this
you.
fixed before I have to come down and kick some booty. Okay.
She was
Come down is good.
Mama D, how sweet she is when she heard. Oh my God! When I said we are not talking about the hair.
I was like, I'm getting everybody in on this stuff.
Oh yes, we are. All right. Well, listen, I have to do a thing. I have to, because this video is a little bit long. So just, please just watch it and bear with me. And there's one little faux pas in there. I was trying to say the wrong thing, but just bear with it. Our guest will be on here. She's got we have a lot to ask her, a lot to say about our inner GPS. IGS. All right. So I'm going to play her video, get her on here, and get this show started. Mama D, I love you.
You have no choice.
This week in the Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, we welcome Zen Cryar DeBrucke. Zen is the founder of Fear Free Human, which makes accessible globally her seminal work on the Internal Guidance System, or IGS, that has made her an international sensation. A member of the illustrious Transformational Leadership Council, created by Jack Canfield, uniting many of the world's top personal growth luminaries, Zen has worked with over 40,000 people, including 4,000 master students, on how to recognize and act on the messages of their IGS to achieve peak life in alignment with their life purpose. Internationally renowned inspirational teacher, speaker, author, and executive coach, Zen's passion is teaching people to tap into their innate inner guidance to generate consistent, successful results in life. The result replacing exhaustion, anxiety, fear, and dread with ease, joy, flow, and fulfillment. Zen's programs have helped thousands of people all over the world transform their lives for the better with sustained positive changes in their business and personal lives. Her compassion radiates through her work, and her lifestyle is down-to-earth, practical, humorous, and wise. Zen's international best-selling book, Your Inner GPS, is an easy-to-read how-to on the way to let this inner wisdom guide you to success, and the Fear Free Human provides a deeper, easily accessible online guide to mastering this art. The key to Zen's success arrived when she decoded her own internal guidance system, and she learned that everyone was born with a factory-installed inner GPS. In the beginning, she used it to fuel her own success as founder and CEO of one of the first internet design companies in the world, and the company grew exponentially, and she worked with Fortune 500 companies. After that firm dissolved in the dot-com collapse, she found herself filling the request of many of her fellow entrepreneurs and executives to advise them on how she was seemingly emotionally untouched by the roller coaster they were experiencing. It was the springboard for her to become a full-time executive coach and IGS guide, coaching thousands of business leaders to use their IGS for success in every area of their lives, leading to the international success of Smart Soul Academy, and now also with Fear Free Human. You can learn more about her if you visit www.fearfreehuman.com and get to know your inner guidance system at www.internalguidancesystem.com. And we welcome you and everyone to the Fox Den. Okay, bear with us. We gotta unmute mics.
Got you.
All that.
Hold on.
There we go. Okay, we got it. We got it. Yeah, I screwed up a little in the middle there. I
Oh,
apologize.
good Lord, woman, child.
It has been a day. It just has been a day. But Zen, please bear with us.
Oh, it's not that difficult. You guys are so lovely. It's so lovely to be here with both of you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's our
Oh,
pleasure.
oh,
Just be prepared for the
you are
craziness.
something. You are, you know, I gotta say, like all the pictures that I see of you, the smile that you have is like infectious, so I can see how all of this just fits you well. Yeah.
Thank you.
But
Thank
now
you.
I gotta say though, even in your book, even in the bios and everything else that I've read, you kind of had a rough go at the beginning of your journey.
I think I've had a rough go most of the journey, actually. It's been rough. Yeah. And but I've lost my immediate family, my brother, my dad, and my mom already, and had cancer, and had some other business issues and situations come up. It's been a lot, but I think it's important for me to have gone through all of them because I'm really able to help a lot of people through a lot of pain
Yep.
with the tools that I've developed for myself, the internal guidance system. And we're all going through it. It doesn't matter who I talk to. We've all got stuff that's
Right.
painful and hard. And you talk to somebody and you have no idea, and all of a sudden they open up and they tell you what's really been going on in their lives. And it's just amazing how tough it is to live on this planet. Really, as a human being,
yeah.
it's hard. It's hard.
It is. And then there's external things that are attacking you all the time, or people attacking you, or whatever. It's like you always feel like you're constantly under attack. And just trying to make ends meet and things like that. It gets really difficult. I've always said, and I said this, and I'm glad I'm at the latter part of my life with the way that the world is today than back at the beginning. Like, I feel bad for my daughters, for my grandson, like, I don't know how you're going to do it. But this, I think your system will help. Managing and all of this. Now, I've always said, now you say you're in a GPS and you're in a guidance system, IGS, and that is like, I always say trust your gut and trust your intuition. Is this like kind of along the same?
It's different. It's very different. So we were born with this system. Every single one of us has it, and it operates the same way in every person I've ever met, no matter where they are in the world, no matter what age they are. It's the exact same thing. It shows up as a tight lump in the throat. Have you ever felt like you had a disc or like a hard lump, right? A tightness in the chest, that anxiety, anxious feeling, or a sick, rock hard feeling in the solar plex area that just sits there and you're like, it's compressed feeling. It's the exact same for everyone. And what it means is what you're thinking is not true or not going to happen. Every single time, no matter what. It's a signal. Now, the interesting thing about this guidance system is it is attached to something outside of us that has wisdom and discernment about our life's blueprint and what we're here to do and participate in as a soul. And so when we start to get off track, this part of our body tightens, meaning that our thinking is carrying us off our life's blueprint. And what I have discovered, and I decoded it, we all have it. It's not, you're already using it. It's called stress, worry, fear, anxiety, overwhelm, frustration, procrastination, right? So
Yes.
as we're feeling these things, this stress, this anxiety, that is guidance that our thinking is off. And once you learn how to find an opening, this instantly releases and you're back on track on your blueprint. So it is truly a guidance system that is manipulating our body to share with us how to change our thinking to be in alignment with what is best for us and everyone around us. That's
talk about something that is so needed in this entire world. Like, this should
she makes it sound so simple.
It is once you get to learn, once you get to start using it, it does become simple, and it feels natural because we're already, and Abraham Hicks, right?
Yeah.
Have you guys, okay. So when she talks about reaching for a better feeling thought, that's exactly what she's talking about, is an opening thought, reaching for the thought that's going to release the center part of the body. And then you're back in alignment with what is perfect for you to manifest and attract to you.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So anyone can tune into this, and it's not like, I mean, is it, how do we, I mean, what's step one? What do we do?
Okay. So right now, I know that Gina was telling me before the show that she's got a lot on her plate, a lot on her plate. So what the key is think about one situation, one specific situation, and Mama D, you could do the same. One situation in your life that is upsetting you. And people out there, I'm going to have you show up in the comments. I'm going to walk you through a simple exercise, and I'm going to have you feel it for yourself. Everybody's already feeling it. It's already turned on and working. So I'm just going to show you how to play with it. So think of one situation, one person, one thing that's happening in your life. Maybe it's finances, a bill that you can't pay, or maybe it's your mom needs to be put into elderly care and you have to have a conversation that's difficult. Whatever it is, it's causing you stress, anxiety, fear. You got one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, as you're sitting there holding that and thinking of that situation, where does it show up in your body? Where are you feeling it?
In my chest.
Right in the chest, right? You feel that? Yeah. Okay. Now, there is one thought. It's actually two statements that always release you, and it's because it's always true. And here it is. Think about the situation again and get in touch with that tightness. Now think this thought: I am closed. That means what I'm thinking is not true or not going to happen. I am closed. That means what I'm thinking is not true or not going to happen. What happened to the tightness?
It's alleviating a little bit.
It's alleviating. You feel that? Okay, because that's a more true thought in alignment with your purpose. Okay, so you want to share with me, one of you, the situation? And everybody out there that's listening in the audience, you could share with us what happened when you thought that statement. Go ahead and put it in the comments or comment below and just let us know. Did you feel that slight release too? Because that's an opening. That's a restarting as an opening.
Yeah, because I feel like I have to have a conversation that I'm thinking is going to be really difficult, and it's really not going to be that difficult.
It's not going to be difficult. Now hold that. Now let's work with that. The conversation, you don't have to share if it's a personal thing that's, somebody's involved, but give me a theme, a theme that's going to be difficult, like just the theme of it.
Financial.
It's a financial conversation you have to have. And you're holding the thought that the person's going to react in a particular way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what's that? Can you share what you think it's going to be? The reaction's going to be?
Defense.
Defensive. Okay. And they're going to get upset. Now, as you're thinking that, notice how the internal guidance system's responding in your body as you're holding that thought. What happened? It's going to be difficult and intense. It tightened back down, didn't it?
Yep.
And then hold the thought. It's not going to be difficult. There's a solution. We're going to be able to work through this. Did you feel it release? Yeah. It's going to be okay. So now we would play with your thinking, and what you do is you play with the strategy. Now we go in and well, how do I talk about this? And you want to step into the conversation open. So you just play with, how am I going to have this conversation, planning it out and feeling, oh, that feels right to say, and this feels right to say. You see what I'm saying? And this is how we do life. And it's the same with making decisions. Now, the cool thing is, try to go back and think that the conversation is going to be difficult. It doesn't feel true anymore, does it?
Yeah, I don't have that.
Yeah, and you can't hold the thought because it doesn't feel true anymore, does it? It doesn't. It's like, oh, I know it's not going to be difficult.
It was a very fleeting, because before I was dwelling.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, and now you're like, it's not going to be hard. I know it because I can feel it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
now, how do we keep it from creeping back in, though?
So that is
time goes
same thing.
on. So
okay, now I'm going to share with you. This is the next cool thing. What just happened to you is you just started a new neural pathway in your brain. Okay, so how many people do you have a real concern about having difficult conversations that they're going to get defensive and mad at you for having the conversation as a pattern in life?
It's a couple. There's a couple.
There's a couple. Yeah. And so a lot of times we pick that up from our childhood.
Not me.
Yeah. Not you. No.
Yeah.
No, you have different stress themes. You have different stress themes than she does. We all do. I call them stress themes. They're the things that always stress us out, that always upset us, that always cause issues, right? And so we get pre-worked up about them, and then they're not what we thought they're going to be. Well, what happens is when you use this, right? It does take a little time, Sharon. I just saw your message. It does take a little time for you to build trust in this. That is one of the things. But it always works out, and you will build trust. But the thing is that those stress themes come from our childhood. And as you work with your mind on the same theme, like this isn't going to be hard, and you feel the opening. It always has to feel the opening. This is not like fanciful, magical thinking or positive or negative thinking.
Mhm.
That's not what this is, because you can get an opening to something that you would feel is unpleasant. My brother got lost up in the mountains, and when I thought I'm never going to see him alive again, I opened because it was true. And it led us me to be able to lead his rescue party to try to find him with clarity, and also knowing, not freaking out of not knowing, but knowing. And I had a woman whose sister disappeared in Colombia, and she opened that she had been murdered, and they found her 2 weeks later in the trunk of a car. I mean, this is the real thing. This is not positive or negative thinking. This is about something inside of you knows the truth. And this is attached to that.
Yeah, they always did that test too. You know what I mean? There are things like
similar.
that you know, like if it's true, or if it's not true, then you're not going to be able to, break that bind. There's a lot of different things like this, and I get it, and I understand that, like we do. I know that we're born with all these things, for preservation, for kindness, for common sense, at least most of us.
Most people.
All these things are in us. And then the world happens, and then the bad things happen, and then the things that taint our views or make us question ourselves, or or scared to put out there who you truly are, because this is not going to get accepted.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So all these things, it's like a societal thing that beats down who we truly are. And
this unravels it.
Yeah.
This unravels all of that. Okay. So, because what it is, with the interesting thing, like, you're talking about muscle testing, right?
Right.
We have to stop and do that. You have to stop and be, okay, is this the right vitamin for me? You're just going through your day, and you'll suddenly feel a tightness in your throat or your chest, or your solar plex, and you go, wait a minute, what was that thought? I was just thinking that I'm not going to have time to get my son and make dinner and do the meeting that I have tonight, and I'm closed. I am going to have time. Okay, and then it'll open back up. So that whole day of rushing and trying to make everything work, and calling my husband and like, I don't have time, everything's a mess, and I need you to, all that. I need you to pick this up and go over there and grab that, And he's like, oh my God, stop. What the heck? That doesn't happen.
Breathe. Yeah.
Exactly. Breathe, woman, breathe. Exactly. That doesn't happen. And it doesn't happen because I can sense. And if it does, if I do open, I don't have time. And I'm like, oh, I don't. And I open, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to have time. Then I call him like, hey, I'm not going to have time to do this. I need help. But it's a completely different situation.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Here's the thing, the way you did that, I'm not going to have time. There was somebody who used to send me voice clips in the morning when they were stressing. And as you notice, I'm the good girl. I don't cuss. I don't swear. There were so many F-bombs and anger and frustration. And I wasn't even awake when these were. So when I get up every morning, I would go, okay, let's listen. And I go back. So are you feeling better now? And I get a response, yes. I'm the frustration vent machine, and I'm good with that. So I'm easier with helping other people to deal with situations. It's my own situations. It's like, but I have this thing that I do when I have, like, if I think there's something stressing that I'm going to have to deal with, I look at it. Can I fix this issue inside of 15 minutes? That's my timeline has always been 15 minutes. And if inside of 15 minutes I can't do it, then I gotta let it go, because otherwise it eats me up on the inside. And I got enough issues on the inside. I don't need more stress just chomping away at me. So,
so you're doing it.
Yeah.
So that's exactly the difference. Is you're just, we have one of the practices is this any of my business? And if you open, it is your business. And if you close, it's not your business. And what that means is we could have very personal things.
Yeah.
Like your retirement that you stress over. Let's say you're worried about you're not going to have enough retirement, or there's a health issue going on, or like I had cancer and I had a completely fear-free cancer experience. I'm completely clean. And what happens is that there's that, thank you very much. If it's not my business, I'll close, which means there's nothing I can contribute to make that thing change in any way. And my participation in it is not needed. It's not even needed. And so what you're doing, that exact same thing. If I can't fix it in 15 minutes, then there's nothing I can do about it, and I'm going to let it go. It's the same thing. Is this any of my business? I'm closed. I feel tight. It's not my business. I can let it go. And that is changing the thought.
Yeah.
And you go back to being open and present with your day. And that's what's important here, is being able to go back and be present with your day. Because here's the thing. I do feel, and this, I know this may not be a popular position, but I do feel that there is a battle going on for our human attention between light and dark forces.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Especially right now on our planet. And those dark forces are trying to distract us and keep us away from doing what we came here to do. And I open that us humans can figure out how to make this heaven on earth again, a beautiful, exquisite planet where we all love each other and that we're all contributing to each other's greatness. I open that is possible. And that we can do that. But if we're so distracted about money and what am I going to do about my sister arguing with me about my mother and what's going to happen, I don't have enough for this amount of money, this situation, or, she's not texting me back in 15 minutes. Is she mad at me again? What, all that garbage that comes up, right? I haven't made it this far in my life yet. What's wrong with me? They're all ahead of me and they have more than I do and all of that. Then I don't actually get to do the beautiful, exquisite things that are being called from me to participate in the world being beautiful. And I think that's why we were given this particular internal guidance system, is to help us, is to help us be able to stay on track with being open, compassionate, empathetic, and loving every day and not get distracted anymore. And we were born with it. And it's just time to use it, because then you cannot be pulled off track, because you can physically feel it. Suffering. The closing is suffering. Yeah. Anxiety is suffering. And we're not meant to live that way. Suffering is guidance.
And I don't like being like that. And that's why I rant and I vent, and then
it's done.
And then that's okay. You know what I mean? Then it's okay.
And I think it's okay for you to rant. Yeah, I do too. I rant and vent too, but I also don't make it about anybody or anything. I don't blame anybody. I just go, this isn't working for me.
Yeah.
This isn't working. I don't like this experience. And then I'm like, okay, let's pull it together and fix it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious. You can talk about, there are different ways and to focus your mind, like a meditation type thing and stuff. And I gotta read this one thing that you wrote in your book that I just love this. And you're talking about being able to calm down, right? And it says, now what you may find is that your mind wandered, whether you liked it that or not. It may have started naming things. If this happens again, treat your mind as if it were a box of puppies. And that's right. A box of puppies. If you were sitting there watching these cute wiggling puppies and one of them crawled out and scampered across the room, you wouldn't go and pick it up and say, bad puppy, spank it on behind and be frustrated, because that's what puppies do. They explore. And that's what your mind does. And I'm not going to read no more, because I was like floored by that one paragraph. I'm like, I love that.
Thank you. Our mind's doing the best it can. It's not really our enemy. But boy, it sure does get us wrapped up in stuff that isn't fun to think about sometimes.
Yeah. Very, very true.
That is true.
But I like that idea of the box of puppies.
I know. Just pick it up and snuggle it, cuddle it a little bit and put it back in the box. Direct it back to where you need it to be, but don't beat yourself up.
Exactly. It's like a brand new baby. They snuggle, they smell, they're adorable, and then, okay, there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. So now, when we go through like all these different feelings and stuff, I'm gonna have these 10 box of chocolates too.
I'm a chocoholic, so I'm sorry. I would take the box of chocolates over puppies every day.
That's a whole nother show. I'll take the puppies.
Yes.
But like when our feelings come into play though, and what if it's like, okay, we can, all right, my situation that you just helped me with, I can have that conversation. I can fix that. What about the ones that we can't?
It'll open you that you can't fix them. And then you're at peace with it.
Okay.
It's like, am I going to be able to solve this situation with this person? And you'll be closed. And you're like, okay, I'm closed. That means I can't. You'll open right back up. And it's like, okay, this isn't about me and this isn't something I can fix. And you'll feel that. And it's like, okay, it's okay to let that person go, or it's okay not to have that conversation because it's just not going to be fruitful.
Yeah, because some people just, some conversations we can't have because they've passed away, or you know what I mean, or situations like
Well,
that.
you can, and I'm not talking about just talking to a dead person. Okay, I'm not talking about somebody who's passed on and being able to call them up in mediumship. We're talking about you can do what I call as a forensic. And so, you know, here's an example. My dad and I had a really, really tough time. You know, he was always hurting my feelings. He was always, you know, clumsy with me as far as just emotionally. And I frustrated him, and he hurt my feelings. And so he stopped wanting to try. And I was on my way driving to his house for Christmas. It was a long drive, about 8 hours. And I was on my way going, why am I even going to this person's house? He doesn't even like me. He doesn't even like me. And I closed. I was like, okay, well, that's not true. So he does like me, but I didn't really quite open either. I just got to neutral. I was like, what is going on here? And so I was like sitting here and I'm noodling through it, because that's what you do, is you kind of go just like, what is going on? And you seek. You don't ask questions. You just kind of seek, you know, like what's happening. I finally hit upon the thought, well, he gets along with my brother. And I opened. I was like, well, what's different between my brother and I? And I was like, the only difference I can think of, I'm more of a tomboy than my brother is, right? And it's like, just that I'm a girl. And I opened. And then I hit this thought next, which was, he doesn't know how to be the dad to a girl. Yeah. And I opened big, like I felt like something was breathing me. It was so opening. And all of a sudden it was like domino of history going, I could see every situation different. He was trying, he didn't know how. Yeah. And so every time he failed and hurt my feelings, he felt horrible. So he wanted to stop trying because he couldn't take hurting my feelings anymore. It was so frustrating. He couldn't do it. If a man doesn't know how to win, he won't play the game.
Yeah.
Right? It's true. So I went to my dad and I said, I don't think you know how to be a dad to a girl. And it was so funny. He goes, of course I don't know how to be a dad to a girl. Isn't it obvious? You're not even happy with me. It was so obvious to him, but not to me. And so I said, I'm going to teach you how. And I spent the next 5 years like telling him what to get me for Christmas instead of just being disappointed. Okay, what did he get me that wasn't right now? Like, you know, but I was so hurt. I didn't know how to do it any other way. So I told him that he needed to like send me a card on my birthday. And I told him how to, you know, this isn't the right thing to say to a girl, Dad. Can you rephrase that or not say that? Right. So it actually ended up being close. And you can do this with somebody who's passed, because your IGS is going to tell you the truth about the real part of the experience.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you'll be at peace.
Okay, no, that is a good thing for everyone to know.
But here, and your dad was willing to be open to listening. What about those people that aren't willing, and husbands, wives, your partner, significant partner that you can't get away from? You both live in the same house, but they just won't. They won't accept that what their way of thinking or what they're saying or what they're doing is wrong.
So I think that's the key.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear that they're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
No, but no matter how you put it to this person, they still take everything personally to heart. It's an attack on me. You know,
right.
How do you deal with?
So the first thing that you do is you've got to love them for exactly who they are.
Yeah.
No changes. Mm-hmm. It's the biggest gift we can give any human being on the planet, is just to love them for who they are. The rough edges, you know, like I jokingly say, my husband, I don't want to cuss. My husband's an a-hole, but he's my a-hole. I love mine. He's mine. I love him, and he's got his stuff, but he's so great too, you know, and there's lots of moments where I want to wring his neck, but really, truly, he's wonderful, you know?
We all have
that.
Exactly.
Too. They want to wring our necks. I mean, there's no, you know, I mean, men and women are different. You think differently, you know, we're nurtured. Yes. We can use both sides of our brains. We can multitask. We can do all these different things all at one time. Oh my God.
Yes, exactly. And they can't, which is really frustrating. I'm telling you, I know that his single focus is annoying, because I can do more, you know, diffuse stuff. But I think the thing is that I kind of came to a place, and this is with everybody. Why does it have to be my way? That's not an easy place to get to. But like, I like to have my kitchen clean at night, and I wake up in the morning and I'm in a fresh kitchen. That's my thing. And it's important.
I can't cook if there's dishes in the sink. I have to have, I'll clean as I'm cooking. Sometimes
me too.
I clean as I'm cooking.
I'll clean before I start cooking, just because I can't take it. You know what I mean? Yep. So he would come home, and in the morning, he would go into the car, clean out he works basically kind of in his car. He would take everything out and put it in the sink and race out. And I would wake up to dishes in the sink day after day after day. And I got really mad. And he'd be gone. I'd just be mad at him, energetically yelling inside my head at how bad of a person he is for doing this to me every single day. And
I yell
in my
at
head,
out loud in my house. Sometimes I swear to God, I think you can hear me.
Oh, you can tell by the way I use my scrubby sponge on the counter that I'm angry, but it's in my head. So, and then one day I realized, like, who am I to say that he has to put his dishes in the dishwasher? It was only for 3 or 4 cups, really. It really was like a couple travel mugs and a water bottle or whatever. And I'm like, it's his house too. So why am I making rules like he's my child?
Yep.
And then I thought,
I will do the same thing. Like, I'm like,
yeah,
I make my messes here and there, but they're my messes. And it's like, I will clean them up. You know what I mean?
yeah, but your husband probably won't tell you to clean them up, will he? Because he doesn't do that. We do that.
He likes living, so no.
Exactly. Yeah. No, he's not going to. Exactly. He likes living. That's so great.
I have my water bottles. I drink so much water every day. And I have a little basket like downstairs near my chair. I have a little basket down there, and I'll drink my water and I'll throw it. And I miss the basket. It's right there. I miss that basket all the time. He'll get angry at that. I come over, pick up, and then throw them all in the thing. And I'll be like, God.
Well, at least he does it.
He does do it.
I know I love you.
But I'll tell you what, if there was a day that came that those cups were in the sink in the morning, it'd be because he wasn't here anymore and I'd really miss him.
Yeah.
So I just got over it, and I think that's the thing. Some things you can't get over because they're not okay. There are things that people do or say or hurtful things. That's different. That's when you have to come and set a boundary. And if you're going to set a boundary, you want to make sure it's an opening boundary. So let's talk about boundaries for a second, because I think that'll help. Boundary is not an ultimatum. A lot of people think, here's the line in the sand. You can't do this to me anymore, but a boundary is really teaching somebody how to care for you better.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like, this isn't working. It's hurting me, or this isn't working because you're causing me to be late to work, or there's something really happening. Right. And I need you to help me with this. So, a good boundary would be like, an example is, hey, on Tuesdays, I can't get our kid because of this situation that I have with work, and it's making me late and I'm starting to show up and look bad. Can you do this on Tuesdays for me and not complain? Because then I feel guilty that I'm asking you to do something, but I really need this from you. And I shouldn't feel guilty for asking for help in our team because we're a team. So if you complain, I'll feel guilty, and we're a team. And that doesn't make me feel like you're part of my team. So I need your help, and I don't want you to complain that I need your help. Can you do that? There's a difference. You see the difference?
Yeah.
Right?
I hate asking for help, though.
I do too.
I think it should be automatic. It's.
Oh, I know, but
with my husband. I've been married we've been married about 40 years, 38, 39, something. I can't even remember that. Don't ask me to keep shit straight in my head. But there's things that we do that we've been doing since the day we've been met together. And it's still, I'm the person that you can put all your shit in the sink and I will wash it. That's my meditation zone. Hate telling them that, but that's where I go into meditation, because all I'm thinking about is cleaning the dish, the water's running, and I'm good. But what aggravates me is when you have those people who had a cup of coffee and a piece of cake, and they go in and they wash that one plate and that one damn cup and leave the rest of the shit there. I was like, what? Why did you just don't do them all? What's the problem? Your hands are already wet. The sponge is already there.
Okay.
So now I've thrown him out of the kitchen, so he can't come in.
So here's the deal. Men are single focused and women are diffuse focused. We will see all the other if you ask him, this is not a joke, he didn't see any of the other dishes.
Right.
He didn't see any of the other dishes.
Oh, yeah.
If a man needs a pair of socks, it's like hunt the deer, hunt the deer, hunt the deer. There's a woman called Allison Armstrong. She teaches about understanding men. Hunt the deer, hunt the deer, hunt the deer, hunt the deer. That's all they know. So then they need socks. And they're like, get the socks, get the socks, get the socks, get the socks. So he goes to the store and he gets the socks. He comes home and you go, sweetheart, did you also get the toilet plunger? Because ours broke. No. Why didn't you get the toilet plunger? You were just at the store. Because I went for a pair of socks.
Right.
And I know, but you could have gotten. Right. Exactly. And that's why they get really freaked out when we send them to like get something like tomato sauce. And we say they have to be stewed, chopped tomatoes. And they stand in front of the tomatoes, freaked out.
Well, that's me grocery
because
shopping.
they've got basil, they've got some with green chilies in it, they've got this whole stewed, they've got and they're like, and they're like, I don't know why do you do this to me? I'm so confused, because they know when they go to the store, the exact pair of socks they're going to get. They do not shop.
Right.
They don't shop.
My husband does. But
not when they need something. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, my husband shops for like tools. And
no, but I'm saying
all the
when we first got,
but
when we first got together, I hated shopping. I didn't like shopping, so he would always do it. He's just a smidgen older than me.
This
so
is a good
he would
video
shop together.
Oh,
that's cute. I like that idea.
James.
But he now it's like if I take him grocery shopping, because usually he sits in the car with the dogs. If he comes into the grocery store, he'll be looking at 2 cuts of meat, 2 we'll say things of hamburger, like 5 cents difference. And he's like, how much is it? Just fucking choose, excuse my language, but just bloody well choose one to put in the basket. Don't be just like, no.
Yes. By shopping, I mean, they don't, what I mean by shopping is like, they don't just walk down the store and just look at stuff and then walk down like we do, where we're like, oh, I'm looking at pillows, and you just, oh, I'm going to walk over here and look at placemats. There's a difference, but yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. My husband cooks and does dishes. He does the dishes when I cook. It's nice. We've come up with a good pattern.
Yeah, Bob's a pretty good shopper. I do have to tell him, you know what I mean? Things like on the weekends, he works all week, but then on the weekends he was making me breakfast in bed. Basically because
I'm coming up to visit on a weekend.
He wants breakfast, right? So
I love that.
He cooks good breakfast, but he'll go to the store and he'll get everything for breakfast. I'm like, well, did you get anything for dinner? No.
Yes, okay. That's what I'm saying. And so with the dishes, he came into the kitchen and he knows he needs to wash his cup and his plate. He's not thinking of all the dishes. He's not thinking of cleaning the kitchen. He's not looking at everything. Now, if you were to come in and say, as he's walking into the kitchen, can you do all the little extra dishes that are there on the counter? Now you've taken his awareness, and he's like, dishes on the counter, dishes on the counter, dishes on the counter. And he'll see what I mean?
Nothing else. Right. But I don't want and he'll usually clean up pretty good after breakfast too, except for he doesn't wash the stove or the counters or anything like that. So I come in and I have to wash all the stuff. And it's like, I'm in there for 20 minutes and he's like, well, what are you doing? I'm like, well, you got grease everywhere because everything is cooked on high, so it's like splatter fest and in the burners and everything else. So it's like, so 20 minutes later, I'm done the stove. Well, we moved to the counter.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But it's like also the dishwasher. I'm very anal. I'm very OCD, A lot of my OCD type habits I have worked through. All right. But there are things. The dishwasher needs to be loaded in a certain way. The glasses can't hit each other because they break. Right? You have to have the one little thing in between them. The little ones go over here, the big ones go over here. The plastics have to go here, the dishes. You can't put any tall pans in there because if you spin that little thing and it hits the pan, you're going to break my dishwasher and then I'm really going to be upset.
Okay, sorry, you mentioned dishwasher and Coco jumped on my lap. Coco's my dishwasher.
Oh, there's a dishwasher. It's my dishwasher. You are muted. And I muted your mic.
No, I didn't.
There we go. No, she was.
Oh, when I lifted my headset, it turned off for some reason. Okay. So I apologize for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the dishwasher is, as you were saying, it has to be done in a certain way. But they interpret the thing of I kind of missed you guys for a second because my phone turned off. But I found out my husband believes that I don't believe he can load the dishwasher. And so what happens is I'll go in, and I am not as fastidious about the dishwasher as you are, Gina, but I have to reorganize it to fit more in because I don't want to run it unless there's as many dishes as possible.
Right. So I'll have that thing packed perfectly.
So he took that as he doesn't know how to load the dishwasher, so he stopped loading the dishwasher for a while. And I was like, why aren't you loading the dishwasher anymore? He goes, because I always do it wrong. You're just going to redo it anyways. I'm like, you don't do it wrong. I'm just trying to fit more in.
Mm-hmm. I know. I mean, he does. Things will be all over the place, or this way or that way, and it's like I can fit 500 more things in there, and then I can run it, and it's going to be run safely, and the thing isn't going to hit the thing going ting 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 ting.
Yes, and so I know the feeling. I think the big thing is just realizing that that's your thing. You know, it's your thing. And because it's your thing, you have to take responsibility for it being your thing, and you can't expect him to do your thing your way.
My way. Right. I mean, I get it.
That's hard. But these little micro moments of our marriages and stuff, we're executing them out in the world as nations.
Yeah.
We do, don't we?
And organizations. And we're seeing this in the world. This is how you have to talk, or this is how you have to behave, or this is how you have to think, or you're wrong and bad. And we're labeling each other, and we're doing that. And I think we're coming to a place, and that's why the IGS is important, because you'll open at having more of an allowance for another person to be themselves. You're open at allowing them to think differently. I had a very intense conversation with a girlfriend who thinks differently than me, and in a big way, was something that I was shocked that she felt, and I won't even discuss it. It's so, like, I wouldn't want to start the conversation, but it broke my heart that she felt that way. But I respect the fact that that's true for her.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, people are different from us, right? I mean, we are different people, and that's a blessing, you know.
But we have to be able to figure that out globally together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
That's a lot of work.
Yes.
But we practice with our marriages, and we practice with our siblings, and we practice with our parents.
Yeah,
that's how we practice.
Our friends, our individual groups, and all that kind of things, you know. Yeah.
Because if we can get it locally, we can then start to get it globally.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And I do. Do you think we're going to see something like that in our lifetime?
I'm working on it. I do believe it's absolutely possible. That's the fear-free human movement. Everything the closing is always about fear. So like when you're irritated with your husband, irritation is always closing. It's never opening. So it's never true. And the fear is that he will never change, and that you're going to be stuck with it forever, which means it's not true. He can change because you're closed. And that thought is not true. Right. So the key is when you're irritated, to be like, what am I looking at that I don't believe he can change, or she can change, or they can change about? Because they can. Then you ask yourself, how do I want this to be? Now, when you start saying that, first reaction is going to be, well, I wanted to put the dishes away exactly, or in the dishwasher exactly how I wanted to put, but that'll probably close you. Right. And so you'll be like, I want this not to bother me anymore. I want to stop picking on him for doing the dishes that way. Right. I want it to not even bother me anymore. I want it to be, in fact, I want it to be I'd like to be joyful that he's doing putting the dishes in the dishwasher. I want to stop this whole thing together. And that may open you. And in that opening, your mind changes and the irritation starts to shift.
Nope.
No,
that's my honey.
Oh, hi, Bob. He's not going to do it. But that's so cute. But there are times when the irritation is something that you do get an opening that you can have a conversation with a solution that will work for both of you. And the key is it needs to work for both of you. And it's really, I think that is the most precious thing about having a really great marriage, is wanting each other both to win. Like really being committed to both people being happy and sticking with the conversation until you both feel like, yeah, this is going to work for us. Because that's when the us becomes precious. It's in working that out and getting to that unique, beautiful, intimate moment. That means we don't want to go to another mate. We don't want to do all that stuff again. We've got our system, right? We've got our system. Like I said, he's my a-hole. I love him. We've gone through so much together, and he's shown up for me so many times. And so if he comes through grumpy and snappy, and I'm like, whoa, I'd give him a lot of slack. And that's the other thing. Our men are going through a lot more than we could ever imagine with the world being like it is, because they can't protect us. They can't protect us from some of the stuff that's happening. And they're watching it go into a spiral, and that's crushing them as men to not have power to stop it.
Yeah.
And we got to give that space for that pain.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I got to understand too, because I'll get like rant about these stupid little things around the house because I'm here, right?
Yeah.
But he's out there, he's working. He's like a president of a union, and he's going to deal with so much.
I've heard you, Babylon.
With these God outrageous things that they come to him with, just.
Yeah, that's a hard job.
right?
Beyond, yes.
Not to mention just his job, right?
The politics itself within that whole system is awful.
Yeah. Well, why ain't you doing this? And why ain't you fixing that? Because that's not my job.
Yeah.
Need fixing, it's like,
Yes.
but it's a lot of things. And then it's like, between management and between the union and then the people and then, and the politics and the stress.
Yeah. So the key is when you're running around the house and you see that thing, okay, that's where, is it any of my business? Does this really bother me? And you got to get off of it because your mind is programmed to complain. All of ours our minds are programmed to find the things that are wrong, not the things that are right. And that's part of using the internal guidance system, is that the things that are wrong and you noticing them are going to cause complaint. And you either decide that you can't ever complain. Like seriously, it's like really bad juju, really bad energy, really will mess up your life. It is like a snowball rolling downhill, okay? And it picks up speed. So you either got to decide you're gonna accept it or you're gonna change it. So when a complaint comes up, how do I want this to be instead? Or I'm gonna live with this. It's okay with me. I'm letting it go. Just like Mama D talked about. 15, if I can't fix in 15 minutes, I'm gonna get off of it. That is powerful. Or I'm gonna change it. And then you come at it from a place of win-win. Really important.
And I also think like one of the things that gets me, hold on, I got to put this one up. He says, I love her. You have no choice. I kick your ass. Sorry.
Yay, Bob.
Is we keep so much inside. And I think even when we stress, like when I used to get those morning vents, okay, for me, I'm okay with that because then somebody gets it off their chest, they get it out, and it's like it's not sitting in there like a giant lump on your chest or on whatever. So for me, you have to express it, and like you said, when you get angry, you scream in your head. Gina gets angry, she screams out loud, and the ghosties upstairs are having a temper tantrum because she's screaming so loud, But it's like, for me, when people like most of my friends know, if you want to vent, I'm here. I'm not going to give you, I'm the person who sees both sides of the fence. I sit on the fence, which irritates my children, but I sit on the fence and I will show you both sides of what I see. But if you just want me, my daughter will come to me sometimes. She'll go, Mom, I want to speak to Mama D. I was like, okay. So which means I can't have a mom reaction, which is probably going to be an interesting conversation. So that's so my friends and my children know. You want to just vent? Just go ahead. Just in the beginning of the conversation,
venting's healthy. I agree with you because you've got to get it out before you can create solution. I'm talking about complaint, where you're just complaining, you're inside your body and complaining about the same thing over and over and over again and not doing anything. That's different.
I do.
That's different. That's different, and it's really, really detrimental to your health. It's detrimental to your relationships. It's it's a little different than venting.
Yeah, my issue is I complain about the same thing, not always verbally, but I'll complain about the same thing. And Chris says, amen for that one. Right. I'll complain about something, but then I won't ask for the help. So, which makes me no longer complain about it. There's trash. It's building up. We have 3 trash containers: regular trash, recycled trash, and compost trash. I got a ton of recycled trash to go out. I'm always the one who goes to bring it out. And when I go to bring it out of here, well, why didn't you tell me about it? Like, dude, they're in the kitchen. Go in the kitchen. You see it, you do it. But then I just shut up. I go, oh, it's there. I'll do it. Done.
Well, that's another childhood response of like not having help as a kid and doing it yourself. And so you get used to doing it yourself. And then also asking for help when you're a kid and having them not help you. And the pain of that, or belittling you or whatever happened around help, the pain of that is not worth it. So you then decided, I'm always going to do it by myself.
I think a lot of times he'll say, you're so much like your mother. And a while back, I used to think take that as an insult. Now I say, yes, I am. I'm honestly, because my mother used to just use it shoveling off the porch and the steps. My father would go out there and shovel them off. But he wouldn't shovel them like the cement steps down to the cement, because we got a whole lot of snow up here. He wouldn't shovel it down to the cement. He would just take off the loose stuff. But then my mother was like, then your foot is not flat, it's like this, so you take a chance of falling, and if I fall, and I'm the same damn way. And my husband thinks I'm nuts, but I'll go out there with the ice chopper, even if it's just chop those, because it's my foot has to be flat. And that's when I realized one day that's what my mother used to do. And I was like, oh God, now I get it.
Now you get it.
You talking here, I want to read the thing that you wrote also, and you're talking about the closings, right? Maybe the person you are blaming didn't know that this was going to hurt you. You could be harshly judging someone because they remind you of someone who hurt you in the past. Possibly the situation you are in now is similar to a past situation, and one that did not turn out well the last time it happened. Go back to your unexamined assumptions and see if there is a who, what, where, when, why, or how that you need to shift. Now that too really stuck to me. And then it says, when you do find the thoughts that open you, you will alter the way you think and bring you more ease, openness, and clarity. Remember, nothing but your own thoughts can close you. I mean, that is profound in and of itself, because that's like all of this, all of our rantings and ravings in a nutshell.
That's right. That's right. It's always our own thinking that closes us, which means we always have the power to feel good. We always have the power to get ourselves out of suffering by finding the opening thought. We always have the power to release somebody else's control over us.
Sorry.
Think about how many times, that's okay. Think about how many times you have spent an hour or two having a conversation over and over in your head was about somebody. And they control you in that moment.
Right.
And so we can take that control back because we're closed. And we're like, what is it that I'm thinking that's not true about this situation? Like I'm wrong, or I did. A lot of times it's assuming that you did something wrong and you didn't.
Yeah.
Right. And you're defending yourself, and you're closed, and and it's because you have an underlying assumption that there's something that you did to deserve being lambasted or to deserve the treatment that you got or whatever it was. Right. And it's not true. It's like, I didn't do anything wrong, and you open, and then you can let it go. I didn't do anything wrong. I can actually own that, but a lot of times we take on being wrong, and then it drives us crazy and hijacks our mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, adamant that I'm not wrong all the time.
Yeah.
Stop, Mom.
No one's wrong all the time. Yeah.
All right, there was something else that I wanted to bring up too, right? And I don't even remember what it was now. I'm sorry. But there's so much here, so it's just ridiculous.
Well, a lot of the book the thing about it is I tried to read it as ways to find opening thoughts. When you're stuck in a really hard situation, how do I get myself out of this thinking? Because we truly believe that what we're thinking is true. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, it says I'm going on to the question list now, okay? Because I don't usually read questions off the question list because I don't like doing that, but these are great questions though, and I'm jumping, back and forth. But what happens after a person has been using this, and much of the programming from their youth has been reprogrammed? Is there a time when we stop having old programs come up, or is it just a constant task of tackling outdated thoughts? All right, now again, that's kind of about what we're talking about right now, of where, when, whys, and the things like that. So
every time you find a closing thought and you reconfigure it to an opening, you start a new neural pathway. And what happens is the old neural pathway that, let's take a pathway of getting angry, seeing dishes in the sink. Let's just use that one, okay? So you come downstairs and you go ahead and you start. Oh, there they are again. And you start the head noise, right? And you're upset, you're irritated. Irritation's always closing. As soon as you reconfigure it and you find the opening, okay, it's hard to go back and have that same reaction because you can feel it's not true. It's BS. You've already found the true thinking. Then they call it's neurally extinct. That's what happens, is that pathway begins to actually shrivel up and die. That complaint, that anger, that upset. So what ends up happening is every time you handle a closing and find an opening, you're reprogramming your mind towards being happy and successful, enjoyment, pleasure. Okay. And so over time, as you do this, and it's very quick because you're hitting it all day long. You feel the closing, you're upset, you fix it, and you have a new brain. You have a new brain. Think about that for a minute. We were born with something that allows us to reprogram our mind. in the moment while we're sitting there. You could be sitting there upset and nobody would even know you're reprogramming your mind and you're becoming happier. You just go into this state of flow and you become unruffled, you become confident. Things like somebody can say something derogatory about you, right? Well, you're so controlling. Well, you stop and you go, am I? And you're closed. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm not being controlling. So here, I'll give you an example. I came upstairs. I was super excited since we're talking about husbands. And I was so excited about something. And I'm like, I'm an influencer. I am. So I go upstairs. I'm like, oh my gosh, honey, I'm so excited. We're going to do this and this thing. And I really want to do it. And here's what we could have. And we could blanket this way. And we could do this and everything. And he looks at me and he goes, I hate it when you manipulate me. And I was like, oh. And my first thought was, right? Everybody in the room goes, I was like, and I'm like, I don't manipulate him. That's my thought in my head. And I closed, which means that thought is not true. I do manipulate him. I was like, honey, I just closed when I thought I don't manipulate you, but I'm not trying to manipulate you. I don't want to control and manipulate you. And he goes, you don't understand what I mean. I go, tell me. And he goes, you come up here and you're like a dog, your tail's wagging, you're super excited. You want to do this thing. If I say no, you're going to be upset with me. But if I say yes and I don't have time to think about it, then later I may come back and say no, and then you're mad at me for going back on my word, and I can't win. You need to come in and not be so excited. You need to present what you want to do, right? And then let me have some time to think about it, and I'll come back with my own real answer.
Processing is a big thing. It truly is.
And he was right. He was like, I'm excited. He doesn't want to crush me and be like, okay, we won't do it. You know? He doesn't want to do that. So now I come up and I'm like, okay, I'm sitting on my tail, and I'll try to be calm and I'll tell you what I'm thinking,
Yeah, I know, because you have been thinking about it. It's all, now you've got it all laid out, and bam, here it is. I got it. Right.
But look at the opposite. What would have happened? But wait a second. What would happen? What would have happened if I had been like, I'm not manipulating you? Oh. If I hadn't been able to feel the closing, recorrect my thinking, see that there was something I was missing, ask the question, what do you mean by manipulation? We would have gotten in a fight.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then from there, that would have colored our relationship as he thinks I'm manipulative. But I wouldn't even understood what he meant.
Yeah, because you weren't going to listen. So yeah, get that.
Yeah. So that's how this changes you.
So that is a big thing. Like, you gotta understand too, like, our brains, we have this thought, we're going to put it out there, and I'm going to give you a minute, right? But, like, he'll do that to me, he'll come in and blah, 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 and I'll be like, and he wants an answer right now. And it's like, if you're going to give me an answer right now, it's going to be no, until I can figure it out, right?
That's right.
I'm not going to put myself through something, for failure. But you got to give me a minute to my steps and make sure that this is the right thing to do. And then and I could change the no to a yes, or you can give me the time to process.
Exactly.
2-second deal, right? You've been thinking about this for who knows how long, okay? Or I've been thinking about this for who knows how long. You can't dump it on someone and expect them to be on the same page you are at that time. So that's kind of
it's important.
It's a hard thing sometimes, because like, well, how much time do you think you're going to need on this one?
I know, right? I'm impatient. I'm too excited. But the key is like those little closings happen throughout our lives, and you start clearing them out. You just become more confident. You're able to make decisions effectively, like really solid, good decisions that you can trust yourself on. A lot of times right now, people are really not trusting themselves on big decisions. Retirement, finances. Do I sell my house? Do I not sell my house? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do with my kids? Do I put them in this school? Do I put them in that school? Do I change? Like, all these decisions are really big. They feel very big, and people aren't able to make them. With this ability inside yourself, you can feel the right decision and you can trust it, because it's always worked out. It's crazy. I'll give you another example. I had a woman who, she got sick. She had gotten 2 years behind on her property taxes because she had medical bills. She had just enough in her savings. This is a student of mine, just enough in her savings to pay off the property taxes. They're sending her bills saying they're going to take her house. Okay. Sending her notification, right? But every time she goes to pay her property taxes, she closes. So she's coming to the coaching calls and she's like, I'm trying to pay them, but I'm closed. I'm like, don't pay them. Now, I know that sounds really irresponsible, but if you do something against the closing, if you're closed and you do something, it doesn't work out. And if you think about it in your life, you've done things where you felt that anxiety and stress and pressure and that push, and it doesn't. That's the time when you're like, dang, I knew I shouldn't do that, but I didn't know what to do. So about 3 weeks went by. She's been coming on the coaching. She's like, I don't know what to do. The letters are really stressing me out, but I'm open. Every time I think that it's not true, they're going to take my house, I open. She's standing in line at the bank. This is the stuff that we don't know that our internal guidance system does. The guy comes up to her from the bank, one of those cubbies, the cubicles, and says, hey, have you thought about refinancing your house? And she goes, no. He goes, we've got really low interest rates. Why don't we talk about it? So she sits down. They go through the whole thing. He goes, oh, I see you have brought back property taxes. And she immediately said, I felt so embarrassed. Yep. She goes, well, why don't we roll them into your loan?
Yeah.
And she goes, you can do that? He goes, yeah. She got $700 off of her loan payment. The property taxes were completely gone. And she got to save her savings.
Right. It didn't come out of her pocket. That's brilliant. See, yes.
But she would have never known that. And that's what the IGS does over and over. It'll tell you not to do business with somebody. It'll tell you to do business with somebody. It'll have you wait. It'll have you wait for divine timing. It'll be like, nope, it's just not the time. I can feel it. Like every time I go to, nope, not yet, not yet. And then you'll open to do it. What it's like is it's like having this beautiful friend inside of yourself that's got your back.
Right.
It's paying attention to everything you're doing in every aspect of your life. It's got your back.
It won't steer you wrong. Yeah. We have friends like that, do that. But this is where you can get this too, right? So is this the little one? Is this a audiobook?
Yes, it's me. It's an audiobook. I read it myself.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, you get the sweet voice.
Thank you.
I love it. So the audio in the book is so you can do Amazon Kindle or Amazon.
Yes.
We also have her sites here. Hi, Roger. www.fearfreehuman.com. That is that movement. Okay.
Yes. And if you want, we have I'm going to give you a different URL actually, befearfreenow.com.
Okay.
If you go to befearfreenow.com, sorry, I didn't have that in there. We have a coaching membership. It's $27 a month. And if you want, you can have a free 14-day trial. You have a mini course on how to use your IGS. I give you practices and tips and tricks on how to use it. And then you can come to the coaching calls and with issues like we're talking about, and I'll work with you on your IGS. And it's only $27 a month to work with me and get the full program. If you decide you want to enroll after the free trial.
It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing because, to ask someone for help, someone like this, where you can actually get the help, someone that's going to teach you how to do this for yourself for the rest of your life is, the world needs it too. So, it's something that we can teach ourselves, teach our kids, teach our
kids are amazing with this tool.
Yeah, and roll it. Yeah, probably when they're younger, it'd be better. And then the fearfreemindexperience.com.
Yep, so that's a 5-day freebie that you guys can do that teaches you how to use this.
Amazing. Yep. Amazing.
Thank you. I've spent my whole life doing this, y'all. Yep. My whole entire life, since 1993. I was 23 years old decoding all of this.
John calls you CPS. I love it. Oh my God. But this is I love the positivity too, because that's what you need. This is the thing. This is how we're supposed to be. We are supposed to be positive, productive, helpful people. Happy. Helpful.
We're supposed to be happy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then how do you do that? By, not being greedy, not being petty, not being argumentative, not being, I have to be better than you. Like, let's be on the same page. Let's be on the same plateau. We're all human. No one is better than the other, right? Help each other out. And then just even doing that, you're happy. But that stuff, we do feel that. We feel it in our chest. We feel it in here. I feel it in my neck. My neck will get stressed. My face will turn red. The blood pressure will go up. All of that. I don't like feeling like that.
No, it's miserable. No. Yes.
No, I don't want to take your happiness away. I never want to take your happiness away.
Well, that's my job.
Oh God. But so anyway, getting back to the book and courses and things like that. So we can work with you on the sites that we just put up.
Yeah, I think so.
20
Yeah,
deal.
exactly. I think the biggest thing is every single time that you feel closed, every single time you feel a lump in your throat, a tightness in your chest, a sick feeling in the solar plexus, this is the thing I want everybody to really like hold on to. That means that you're getting guidance. Anytime you feel anxiety, anxiety is always guidance. Fear is always guidance. Doubt, okay? When you don't trust someone, mistrust is guidance, because when you feel that feeling of mistrust, it means what you're thinking about the person isn't true. If you really can't trust somebody, you absolutely know it.
Yeah.
And you don't go forward. But that mistrust piece that's when you're like, they remind you of somebody else, or you've been in the situation before. It's not true. Okay. And so you'll feel an opening. If there's uncomfortable situation you're in, it will open you and you'll feel the truth of it. There's a discernment there that you can trust. And so all of those things I listed are causing all the problems we have on the planet with each other. You were talking about greed, right? Well, greed is closing, it's lack, it's I don't have enough, which is the lie. I'll never have enough. And that's why people get greedy, is they're afraid, fear. That's the fear-free human movement, right? They're afraid that they're never going to have enough, or they're going to lose what they have, right? Pettiness is ego, being embarrassed or ashamed when you're in relationship to somebody else. And you want to hurt them for hurting you. That's what pettiness is about. And that's closing. That's from the closing feeling has us lash out at each other. And so as humans, we have this guidance system that if we listen to it and we feel it and we reconfigure our thinking, it brings us to peace. I believe that this is the thing. I truly do believe, y'all, that we can evolve the human species 100% forever out of fear. The fear-free human movement is in 1,000 years. My desire is that we will no longer have mental fear. All of this stuff will be transmuted. Our minds will have been recreated, and there'll be a teacher sitting there talking about fear, like we talk about lead in the Roman Empire, how it took it down, right?
Yeah.
And they'll be saying, and we had fear on the planet, and this is what was happening, and that was what was happening, and there was nuclear wars, and people were murdering each other over land, and there were children that were being taken from their parents, and there was this happening, and there's disease, and there's cancer, all this stuff, right? And the little girl looks up at the teacher and says, "What does fear feel like?" And he goes, "I don't know. We've never felt it."
That would be wonderful. I'd sign me up.
Yeah, because this is how they control us. This is how people control us in the media, right?
Fear is chaos.
It is.
Chaos is control.
Exactly.
And we have a fearless leader now that loves chaos. so
yeah.
Y'all can hate me. I just don't like him. All right. That's my 2 cents on that right now. I'm not
See, that's that again, that there might be somebody in the chat room who likes him, but
of course.
But what I like is I always leave it to God. There you go. I always say leave it to God from Roger. But what I like about you is, yes, I know you can't stand the person that's there now. And I know that you have people who like, oh my God, walks on water. But you might have a disagreement, but it doesn't stop you from liking that person. I have somebody in my life who is so negative about what's going on in the States right now. And if he finds out that you like what's going on in the States, don't talk to me ever again. Don't. It's like, dude, people can have difference of opinions without freaking out.
It's really important to have difference of opinions. We cannot get the solutions we need unless we have differences of opinion. Now, the thing is that, whether you like a person, like him or not, Trump, we're talking about Trump, obviously, right? I'm imagining. I want to make sure. Yeah. Whether you like the person or not, okay, our whole political system is a mess. All right. There isn't anybody at the top who's incorrupt and who is not does not have serious problems in some way, shape, or form. You can't get to that position in the world and not have that. And and the thing is that there's been a lot of light being shined on, and he's very good at making himself look like a fool in the things he says and what he does, right? But others are the same way, are hidden. They're hidden. And that
Yeah.
if the light was shined on all the different people that are up in power, we would have a very similar situation. The thing is that we have to figure out what is actually going to work, and we can't be asleep anymore. We got here because we weren't paying attention. We didn't want to be bothered, right? About our own people that are running our world. We've been bleeding money in the United States. That's not okay either, because we have a lot of people starving and not doing well here too.
Right.
And so, right. And so
Right.
we have to start paying
there's
attention.
the good, there's the good and the bad. There's the
We
good
have to
things that are going
participate.
to happen,
That's
and
my
there's
point.
the bad things. You know what I mean? So, hey, you got to sit back and you got to see where this goes. But,
one opening at a time.
Right. You know what I mean? So, I mean, there are, hey, I like the deportation stuff. I like that.
There's stuff I like and there's stuff I don't like. And my jury's out. I won't know until we're done. And nobody can solve this with big, broad strokes. I think big, broad strokes will be helpful in the beginning, but it's got to be more nuanced than that. And we have to participate, and we have intelligence that needs to be put into the mix.
Yeah.
And we can't just can't sit back and go, I don't like it, I'm not going to do it, because we got
she's Canadian. Yeah. Right? She lives in Canada. It's like,
and she's got issues too up there.
A state.
They've got issues I mean, we've got issues all over the world. There isn't
every country has issues. They just, and the thing is,
big.
They may not see them. Like a lot of people think, oh my God, Canadians are so polite and so sweet. It's depending on where you walk, we ain't always polite.
I know. You don't know what's going on behind your neighbor's door.
Exactly. You never know what's going on within people.
So, there's a lot of messes up there. UK, Europe's a mess right now. I mean, UK is arresting people for social media posts, literally coming to your house and arresting you for what you put on social media. That's not okay. It's not okay. I don't care. It's not even hate speech. It's just going against what the government wants you to believe, think, or put out there. That's not okay. Yeah. We've got all kinds of issues with our food, with chemicals, with our, there's so much happening that so this is the thing. This is the distraction that I was talking about, where like, if we are in our heads with complaint and with upset and like pettiness, like you're talking about, right? We're not focused on our gift being given to the solution. And each and every one of us has inside of us a piece of the puzzle that's incredibly important. Okay. I don't believe we have one life's purpose. I think we have 100,000 of them. Okay. And it's like giving the book to that friend that completely changes her life. It's smiling at the person behind the coffee counter. It's taking care of your grandbabies on Saturdays so your daughter can work the second job. It's stopping the young man who's being rude and saying, wait a minute, no. We don't treat people that way, and having that moment. It's all these little things that we're here to do and to be part of. Okay. And if we're not in our center and we're not in our openings, we don't get to participate, because it's our openings moment to moment that move us into when to participate, and it's our business, and when not to participate, because it's not our business. And by it's not our business, I really truly do mean it is somebody else's business, and they've got it handled. Yeah. And if you think about that, there's lots of things out there that are not mine to do, but I do know there are beautiful people who are on it, and they need my support.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. I love everything about you. I love everything about this system. I mean, it's really what is needed. It's kind of like a reset, and it is a factory reset, because you said it's a thing that we have, right? And it's just, I really think the whole world needs it. What are you saying, Faye? I heard someone say, just do the next best thing.
Yes, and it's hard to know what the next best. I love that sentiment, and I think it's actually accurate. But how do you know? Like, so there's an example of I've been told closing. I've been giving closings. I'm like on my IGS closing, not to give somebody money, and then there'll be somebody else, and I'll be open to give them money. And like, there's that thing, right, where it's, how do you know when to participate and when not to? How do you know when to give? Because you could be just prolonging somebody's misery by giving them money, and they're about to fall on their face and get up and be a champion in their own lives. And then there's times where if you don't lift that person up, they're just going to crumble. They're too hurt and weak they need the strength. They need to leverage your backbone, right? That kind of thing. When to stand up for yourself. That's another one. How
Yeah.
do you know if you're just being a bitch or if you're actually like setting it down a boundary that's
Boundary.
important,
Mhm.
right? And
Right.
and this thing tells you that.
Yeah.
Right.
It really truly does.
Yep.
You know, like that manipulation moment where I was like, I'm not manipulating him, and I closed, and it was like, I am. My little heart was like broken when I felt that, and I opened. I like, I am, and I opened. I was like, I don't understand. I'm not trying to be like that. How do you
Yep.
tell? But the switch in my energy was like, well, tell me what you're talking about, because that's not how I want it to be. I don't
Mhm.
want you to feel manipulated.
Right.
And he's
Right.
right. I'm an influencer. I get excited. I get people doing stuff. It's true. I mean, I'm a motivational speaker, for goodness sakes. You know,
There
he
you
doesn't.
go.
He,
This was thing. Here's a lecture. You know.
exactly. I don't need to like motivate
Yeah.
my husband. That's not fair. Yeah.
Where will you be speaking next? So if someone can go see you.
Oh gosh, I haven't. I'm not doing any live events right away. I do 4 to 5 coaching calls. I do them on StreamYard, and
Wow.
so they're in that coaching subscription, and I post them out on YouTube on Fear Free Human, and I'm on LinkedIn on Fear Free Human, and we just started this movement, and I'm going to be working with individuals. You can get on the call. I'll work with you on whatever issue you're having. They're super binge worthy and fun to watch because you can physically see people go from the closed like and then we're working together and they open and they're at peace and they're fine and it's over. Big issues are over. You
Right.
know,
Is that on this one?
fearfreehuman.com. Yep, you can find it there.
Okay.
And that's really the big thing that I'm doing is I'm working with people through StreamYard in this new coaching experience, you
That's
know,
that's
so that
awesome.
I can, and then people can watch it. They don't even need to get coaching. The other thing that's a really interesting is that in having done this for so long, there are spiritual principles about the way the world works. Be fear free now. If you want to put a now in there, that's really the best place to go. Be fear free now to find out more about what we're doing. That's kind of like our go. The rest of them you'll find us too, but the be fear free now is really succinct. So here's the thing. The world around us is like a mirror. Okay. I
Mhm.
do believe in the law of attraction, but I don't. What I found is that it's a spiritual principle, but it's not for getting a Ferrari by sitting in an armchair. Right. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
And our lives can
Over.
be made incredible from using the law of attraction, but it's, let me give you guys, do you mind us jumping into this topic? Because I think it's really
Nope.
important.
No, it's important. That is
Okay,
important.
great. Um, I agree with you, Faye. It is important
Yep.
not to feel uncomfortable. And if you feel open about the sound, the boundary you're setting or the self-care that you're teaching someone on how to care for you better, it makes it really easy because you know that it's needed and it's good for them too. When you're open, it's good for everybody. But so the world around us is a mirror because we can't see our own stuff. We
Yep.
can't see when we're in it, when we're the broken one, when we've got the issues. And so anything that's in your mirror that triggers you, that causes you upset, is one of 3 things. It always, no matter what, either you're doing it to yourself, you're doing it to someone else and you're not aware of it, or it's something that you want to be able to do and you won't let yourself have it.
Mm.
Mhm.
Okay. And this is your power. I don't care. And this is like you wanted to figure out like how do you figure out the husband stuff, right? And getting irritated with them and annoyed all the time and really they're annoying you, right? Well, this is you're triggered, so it's your stuff. Always, no matter what. So here's an example. I had this woman who I was working with her and she was talking about how her husband wouldn't come home for dinner. She'd make these beautiful dinners. She kept making more and more of his favorite meal, his favorite dessert, his favorite thing, and he'd always stay at work. And she was really upset to the point where she's about to divorce him because she's like, he doesn't even care. I make these dinners for him and our kids, and he doesn't even care. I'm like, this is so triggering for you. You have to have it in your mirror. You're doing this to yourself, where you're not showing up for yourself. You're doing this to someone else, or it's something that you want to do. You want to like show up less and be able to do what you want, have more freedom. I said, we're just gonna go look for it. Literally 3 days later, her son's getting in the car and he starts telling her, you don't care about me. You don't love me. Okay. What
No.
happened was, and I don't want you to be my mom anymore. He was like 7,
Mhm.
Wow.
which is almost exactly what she was saying
She
about
was
her
thinking.
husband's relationship. And that you'll hear it. It'll come back around. It's so clear. This is a universal principle and it works and it's so clear. And she realized she was using his after school playground time as her time to get her errands done. And every single day he asked her to show up early so he could show her on the swinging on the monkey bars and playing with his friends and kicking the ball and doing all the stuff they were doing. And he was always the last kid picked up.
Oh.
And she was breaking his heart. And she didn't realize it because she was important and had things that she had to do, which her husband was like, I have things to do at work. I can't just leave.
Yeah.
So she started showing up early for him, and her husband started showing up to dinner without her saying a word.
Wow.
I have had this happen over and over. Another one, this is the one where it's something that we want to do, but we won't let ourselves do it because we have some sort of rule or some sort of, egoic right or wrong trip going on. There's a woman, she'd been working for US Steel for 30 years. And she had this young gal who was showing up late, taking late lunches, taking personal days, and she was furious. And she wasn't under her, she was under her boss. They had the same boss, right?
Yeah.
And so she comes in and she's just kvetching and bitching and moaning about this young woman who's just not respectful and not doing this. And I was like, you're triggered, you're doing this to yourself or someone else. And so she took the week, because it'll show up. I'm telling you that it'll come right around and you'll be like, there it is. And once it's solved, once you see it, it solves itself and it's over. I swear. And so what happened is she goes, you know what? I've never taken any personal days. I'm always on time. I would like to come in late. I would like to take personal days. I've been working for this company for 30 years. So she did. Nobody noticed. Nobody said a word. Nobody bitched about it. They didn't care. She's like, all these years, and I have been just so like on it and hard on myself and like stressing to get to work on time, and nobody cares. And the culture was, you get your work done, it's fine. Yeah. So she started taking personal days, and the gal got transferred to a completely different office.
Wow.
Because it solves itself over and over again. And then we do this stuff to ourselves and we don't recognize it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, like if somebody's picking on you, often you're picking on yourself inside, and they're just the outside representation. I really think that is the true way that the law of attraction is meant to work. And yes, when you follow your openings, because you're open all the time, you start giving, more abundance and more amazing things happen and connections start going. There's a synchronicity that the whole entire planet's operating in. Like whales migrate into the opening, I believe. Birds fly south into the opening. Seeds come up out of the ground. I even believe the leaves on the trees fall. And when they feel the opening to fall, there's a synergy to all of it that is in this expanded energy. And we're supposed to be a part of that. We're supposed to come back into alignment with that. That's part of the balance that we're working on with integrating back into our planet, which is what's going to create health on the planet. This opening we're talking about, it's going to guide all of us to be in that natural synchronistic flow with each other in the world at large. That's what we're moving towards as a species. And if you think about it with me for a second, as a species, not only just hold the thought that we can do it, we have the tool that we're born with inside of us. It's leading us into joy and happiness and connection with each other. That's sweet. I love that. And that we have a major opportunity right now, because there's so much pain and we're tired of it and we want it to be different, that we're going to start seeking answers and solutions that we've never, as a species, have never sought before. And one of the things that I loved about COVID, is that I didn't like most of it, but within a 2-week period, the entire world shut down to protect each other.
Right. We bring this up a lot. We talk about that a lot. This is possible. It is a possibility.
It is possible.
This world can all get on the same page. COVID proves that. And then people start, COVID's
well, then they manipulated it and it all got weird.
Yeah, whole world, though. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The whole world's good on that page. So it is a possibility.
It's more than a possibility. I believe it is going to happen. And I want you to check your own ITS in this moment. I want you to hold the thought that this is happening. It doesn't feel closing, does it?
Nope.
No. This is happening. I'm telling you. And it's going to be a beautiful thing to watch. And I am 55 years old. I am not some little, kid who's like, oh, all posies and rosies. No, I'm serious. It's a lot of work and it's hard. It's not easy. But with this tool, this internal guidance system, and moving into the opening, it gives you courage. It gives you strength. It gives you positivity. It gives you the faith. You can't go back to the closing once you've had the opening, because it's no longer real for you.
Right.
So we can't go back to judging people the way we did. We can't go back to hating people the way we did once we have the opening and we know the truth. We know what's really going on. And each of us in the opening is producing what we're here to produce to this, for the solutions to come through. This is miraculous.
It's pretty cool.
I'm just as, yeah.
It really is. It's an awesome system. It's something that we have, and it's like you would think we instinctively would know this.
I know, but I think it's actually been hidden from us.
Right?
I do. I think that, there's a lot of we've been dancing around this as humans in philosophy and religion and science and all these different things for a long time. It's like we've been with the elephant. We're all over the elephant and are blindfolded and we don't know exactly what we're touching. Like it's all over. Once you start using it, you're like, oh my gosh, it's in the Bible and it's in Socrates talked about it and Plato and Carl Jung's talked to, you look and it's like everywhere, this opening experience.
It sparks fear. That itself sparks fear in the people that want to
control it. Yeah, it does. It does, because they won't be able to control people.
Yeah. Sounds beautiful, but humanity has a way of destroying beautiful things. That's exactly.
But only based in fear. So once we get rid of the fear, which is the opening, and it's a tool, it works. Yeah. I'm glad. Thank you. I'm happy to have you check it out, Faye.
Yeah, it's worth it. The book is good. And I would be showing the book all the time, but I have a PDF, so it's on my computer, so I can't forget.
There's the cover, though.
I have all the pages that I printed out of the book, and then I did print out the whole section on the chest, the solar plexus, all the places that this affects us, where you feel it, all that kind of stuff. So I always have all the things. Like, I love in there too, where you listed all the emotions and you had like 4 pages of 90 million types of emotions that we can feel. And I'm telling you, it is great to have that. Oh, thank you. Thank you for watching. It's her system. She's the one. But it's a great list to have to look at, because you don't think sometimes that you're feeling these things.
Yeah.
Or, what the mirror thing,
like yes.
They have to go and they got to point fingers out here, and instead of going and pointing in the mirror, people have to do that more in the mirror. And I think that's a wonderful place to start.
It works. Yeah. That's the thing, is it works. And the emotions, a lot of people think of this as, they ask me, isn't this intuition? It's not intuition. It's something else. I'm intuitive. I'm claircognizant. I have ideas that drop in. But I talk to other claircognizant. It doesn't show up the same way for us. And same with somebody who's empathic, where they feel other people's feelings. They might physically feel the feeling. They might feel the energy in the room. It's different. The internal guidance system shows up the same way in every person, where intuition shows up differently in every person, because it's a gift, where this is a system that we're all born with. And then emotions. So somebody could be
intuition is more external. It's an external force, right? And your IGS is internal.
Internal, working with the mind and your physical body energy.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And it's helping you with your correct your thinking. It's helping you have powerful thinking. And it's because it's our thinking that creates our reality. But in emotions, you can be angry and have an opening, because this isn't our emotions either. So it's not just about feeling good. You can be angry and be open. And that's powerful change, anger, like Mahatma Gandhi or Martin Luther King Jr., where there's change happening. And then you can have closing anger, and it's destructive. And that's where you get the riots and the looting and right? So in the middle of an emotional experience, you could have either the opening or closing, but based on whether your thinking is true and in alignment or not.
And then the people will fight it. So they'll continue to do that kind of stuff and still have all this.
Yes, exactly. The closing actually makes it worse. It makes them more angry, more violent, more upset. Closing begets closing too. We can feel each other's closings. So when somebody comes, it's like, somebody comes in and they're closed, you feel it and you go, back. Right? You're like, I'm great. I'm just having a good time. Everything's fine. And then someone comes in and you're like, they say something, you're like, what's wrong with you? It's like, where did you come from? I was happy until you showed up. What is that energy you just brought in here? What was that? You just totally hijacked me. Yeah.
So this happened.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm like, gosh, what happened? You can turn around and get that out of here. Yeah, no. But so it's an interesting thing once you learn, there's a lot to learn, but it's really fun to learn because it makes such a difference so fast in your life.
Yeah. Because there's so much in so many different aspects. Like I want to say certain things and I can't. Like there are so many fascias of these types of energies that just live for the combat, that live for the drama,
Mm-hmm.
that live
Yes.
for all the chaos. And I just don't understand it. I can't wrap my head around it.
I
You know?
do believe there's forces outside of us in the world, on a spiritual level, that are feeding off of our fear and our anger and our upset. I have not been able to get away from the concept of good and light, of like angels and demons and light and dark and forces at battle for the human soul. No matter how
Yeah.
much I keep trying to move out into, let's not have that because it's not positive and it's not something I really want to have happen, I can't, because it's real.
There. Mhm.
It's there. And it's true. And I can't, it's just, I have to state it. I do believe that this is one of the things that's happening for us in humanity, is there is a force that is riling us up to destroy us. And so like the comment saying, you know, humanity has a tendency to destroy beautiful things. I think humanity is used by evil forces to destroy beautiful things.
Yeah. Yep.
We're used. And if we don't stop it and we don't have the energy to witness it and be like, no, I'm not following that line of thinking, that power, that energy, I'm not going to go there with you, basically. Then it doesn't have any power. And the power it has is through fear and anger and power, literally power. Like it wants us to be powerful and destroy things because we feel powerful, we feel big. And there's a whole light source though, too, that is way bigger, way stronger, way more beautiful, and way more who we actually as a species attuned into. We actually are tuned into love more than we are the darkness.
Yep.
And
that
fear.
is the group of people that I want to be around.
Yes.
That is who I want to be affiliated with. That is who I want to be associated with. I don't need the other added stress. That's who I really
But
yeah.
I look at it like this, that you are a lighthouse. There's that light that shines, that guides people and guides yourself, but there's also negativity attracted to that goodness, that light.
Yeah.
And they want to try and ease you more, squish, 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 you know. And the thing is, you just shine, just continue being you, and don't respond to. For me, I don't respond to that negativity. That's like somebody once asked me, how do you know all angels are good, or the people that you talk to are angels and they're good? Because that's what I let into my circle.
Yes.
That's what I let into my circle. I don't once had somebody send something negative towards me, and I would get the feeling that there was something with me, and I was like, it's not good. But I'm not the type of person to say, well, just go back and torment the person who sent you. So instead, I sent them back to that person and sent them back with love. So every so often that entity comes back and visits me, and I know that they're there because I have a certain way of feeling them. But it's like, it's not the negative that I felt when they were originally sent to me, because you get the feeling of negativity as being one type. This person's evil, this person's nasty, this person is this, go over there and torment them. I was like, well, when they got here, they found out I wasn't, because if I was, I would have sent them back with the negativity, but I sent them back with positivity. You just have to not let the negative take away that light, that bright light that shines in you. Because I know it's going on, and Gina, and I love you madly, but that stuff that's going on, they're getting their reaction out of you. Even if it's just between you and me or you and Bob, whatever, they get that reaction. And in that moment, they win. But then you take it back. And then you say, well, frick them. Now here, look, I'm not swearing. Frick them. And then you're good. Your light's back lit up again, you know? So it's like, it happens. It surrounds us at some point in time. It's always near us. But so long as you just let it go, there's that 15-minute thing. If you can't strangle them up in 15 minutes, you let it go.
I really love that. Yeah. It's insidious. It's little tiny thoughts about things that take us off, right? There's a did you guys see the movie Always with Richard Dreyfuss? It was the one where he's a he's a plane
Oh, the
that
plane
just
guy.
fires
Oh,
down,
yes, that
right?
was
And he dies. A precious movie, love it. And Holly Hunter's in it, and she's
oh,
still alive, and he dies. And it's a beautiful love story. So he's a ghost, and he shows up at this airfield, and there's this guy, and he's sweeping in front of the airplane hangar, and the guy's whistling, and he's all happy, and he looks over into the rear view mirror or the side view mirror of a truck, and he's kind of like checking and doing this, and then the ghost says, Richard Dreyfuss says, "Well, you're a real funny looking guy, aren't you?" And the guy looks and he goes, he stops whistling and he walks on and he starts sweeping,
oh,
and it's like exactly,
Mm.
ah.
hmm.
But I believe that that's what it is like more often than the big attacks or the big, and I know what you're talking about, Mom, of people sending you stuff, but I also think that there's little voices that come up, you're stupid, or you're not smart enough to do that, or they don't respect you, or nobody's going to listen to what you have to say, or, thanks, Faye.
Yeah. I'm going to read that out
Yes,
loud.
and I love that. I
Yeah,
love it. I was going to say that. That's good.
Yeah, we put this on our audio only, so I want to say what Faye said. She said, "I tried to deny the existence of dark forces too, but no more. They are here along with the light forces, but I choose to think of positive things and keep positive people around me. Thank you, great show. But gotta go. You're in a GPS. I'll be reading it.
Good. Thank you, Faye.
You go,
And
girl.
we're gonna talk to you about having Roger on again, too. Actually, probably both of you. We'll have you and Roger on.
Just leave Roger and just bring Faye.
Yeah.
I love you, Roger.
Don't you do that to Roger. He always asks to come back on the show.
I know. I'll have him. I'll wear his shirt when it comes on.
Yeah, but this is that's what I was saying about
Aw.
the fashions, the different.
I got
fashions,
my
because
pups
there are
down here
so
too.
many different realms of negative things. Like
There are.
I do paranormal investigations. I have dealt with some negative things. I've had negative things around me, or not demons or things like that, but just
Grumpy
negative.
old curmudgeons.
And this is a whole new show. You know what I mean? Of what and how that whole realm works. But yeah, there are the negative things. And when you're talking about the talking, yeah, they're always talking. There are more dead people on the planet than there are living. All right. So they're always talking. They're around and they're talking. So whether you choose to hear them or not, it's subconsciously it's getting into you anyway. So yes, but you can shield yourself from that.
Oh yeah.
Block all that out.
Yes. I agree. But you have to do it consciously. I really do, because it's there and it's omnipresent, and it's in our media, it's all over. And I think, and that's the thing, is it boils down to, for me, it's like, if you pay attention, it's so much fear is being spewed at us, and things to be worried about and concerned about, and to suck up our time.
Propaganda.
Yeah.
Propaganda. A lot of propaganda.
Yeah. That's true. And it's about, this one, that one, this one, that one. And they want to run you by fear. Everything is based by fear. Fear is like the underlying cause to every single problem in the world. And once we have that fear-free human that you're going after here, I mean, then and our possibilities are truly endless, because
it is.
We have brilliant minds. And
hearts.
And and they're so closed off. Because why? Because people are jealous and they don't want you to take off, and they don't want you to speak your mind, and they don't want you to succeed because they're not. You know what I mean? Well, come with me, right? Come with me.
Yeah. Come with
All right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Night, Faye.
No, we've been all
good
here tonight.
I know, it's lovely.
I do like it. I mean, you do talk about other things too. So you talk about the brain and brain plasticity.
Yes.
And that how we can reprogram our own mind. You talk about divine guidance, tapping into universal wisdom, which is also wonderful. Destiny versus free will. Now that
that's wonderful.
Let's touch on this a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, it's a fun one, because it's one of those, I think it's a yes and. I really do. as I was decoding and figuring this out, because I didn't create it, I just decoded it, right? So I've just been trying to figure out what is this thing. I figured it out for myself and then was doing it with others. And then comes the question, where is this opening and closing leading me to? Right. So first I'm just noticing that I'm sabotaging my life. And every time I go to sabotage my life, I feel this tightness. And from Abraham Hicks, she was saying, when you're tight, you're out of alignment with your most ultimate life path, optimal life path. And when you're open, you're moving in your optimal life path. So I had those two pieces from her.
Yeah.
But then you're like, how does the person know that that within a couple of weeks, the property taxes are going to be taken care of by a new loan, and she didn't even have that in her mind and know that that was possible.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's like stuff like that where it would be happening, like miraculous things where I'd be closed and it would make no sense. It's the kind of thing where sometimes this will go completely against sense of what is right, and the world is telling you is right. And then it works out over and over and over. It always works out.
Yep.
And you're like, how is this happening? So then came like, okay, so does that mean I don't have any control over my life? Is this a destiny thing? Right.
Right.
Or is I self-determined? And what it is I really think that we actually, and this is being backed up by near-death experience, that's happening, is that we plan before we come here,
Yep.
the experience that we need as a soul to get to wherever it is we want to be, whether it's I don't know about levels, but an awareness, that's an experience of awareness. And so we pick all of the people that are going to be in our lives, our kids, our parents, our, all these friends and family and enemies, okay, that are going to be in our lives. And we come down here and then we forget everything, right? And we have to rediscover it. And I think that it was so hard that we were given this tool, truly.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard. And so this is tuned into the thing that the experience that we really came here to support us in being able to achieve it, And the interesting thing is it's talked about, like in the Bible. I believe this is the Holy Spirit that was given to humanity after Jesus Christ died and was sacrificed for our sins, so that we would never be able to leave God fully ever again, because we could feel the separation in our experience and always kind of try to yearn to come back to that open feeling of love, and that this is a thing. And so there's so many more other things that in different philosophies and things that are all leading us to this conversation and this oneness and this experience of being whole, and how this balances all that out. And so I think we are living in an experience of both of destiny that we co-create, and self-determination, and that this tool is the capacity to help us to do it well, to do this life well.
I like it. So
Yeah.
what do you think about all the people like the Gandhis and the
Mother Teresa.
like that? If they are they super tuned into their IGN?
I do, yeah, yes, and faith.
And it just exudes, and that's why they get such an attraction around them.
Yeah, they're super tuned into it.
Come out of you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like the lighthouse that she was talking about with the light.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And they're super tuned into it. And there are people that have it. We all have it in different areas of our life. Like when we started the call, right? Amadis doesn't get upset and vent and need to do that. It's different, but you do, right? And so we're all different. We're all tuned into it in different ways as far as what we have openings. I have worked with people that are running executive coaching for people that are running billion-dollar companies, and they've got the business and the money thing down. But boy, they sure don't have the relationship wife thing down.
Yeah.
Right. That's the place where they come and they're like, my wife is so miserable with me. Help. I don't know what to do. Right. And I don't want her to be. Men love us so much. And it's just, they're such a gift. But
sometimes.
So they have openings. They really are. I mean, if you we're not always peachy. I mean, come on, we are crazy emotional. Exactly. I'm not difficult.
I'm honest. I'm a redhead. I've got a temperament that's, when you cross a line with me, I will blow my top, but then afterwards I'll reel it back in. If I know I'm right, I won't apologize. I might apologize for the way I blew up, but not for the reason that I blew up.
Yeah.
And I'm honest, like my husband always says, "Oh my God, woman, you're crazy." And I'm like,
Yes.
crazy or me or the one who married me? You knew all of this before you said I do. So
Yep.
I know. That's what I'm saying, though. I mean, we're crazy, and they put up with us, and we put up with them. It's all good.
All good.
I just love how men show up. I really do, and
Yeah.
how hard they work, and how they show up.
Mhm.
Most of them. I mean, I know there's bad ones out there, but luckily, men show up. They keep taking care of us. They keep
the
showing
good
up.
ones too. Yeah,
They
the good ones
do.
too.
They do. So I got lost. Where were we talking? Oh, and so they'll have certain areas of our life. We already have this. It's easy,
Mhm.
and then there'll be other areas where we're closed and it's really difficult, right?
Yeah.
And so we're all polishing up different areas of this experience. And there are people, like, honestly, Elon Musk is open, and a lot of the time, I mean, that's really interesting. I've read his book and stuff, and he is fearless. He really is. And
Yeah.
he knows, I mean, that man has gone from millions and millions of dollars to zero, to millions of dollars to billions of dollars to zero, and back again so many times. And it doesn't faze him. And it's an interesting place because he has a vision and he can feel an opening that it's going to work, and he just moves towards it. Where other people are like, you can't catch a rocket. He's like, yeah, you can. I know you can. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to go show you that I can catch a rocket. Right. And, so that's the thing, is there's lots of different people. And Mother Teresa, I actually got an opportunity to talk to somebody who worked with her recently.
Oh, nice.
And,
Wow.
and it was interesting. She was under attack constantly.
Yeah.
Like she would get an orphanage going, and they'd rip the permits out from underneath her and kick her out of the orphanage. I mean, it was a constant attack of her work. And she never fought. She just kept pivoting and going on to the next thing. And that's a sign of following your openings, because you don't get caught up in the woe's me or the pity or anything. You're just like, okay, I'm just going to switch gears and go to the next thing. And it's the next right thing and the next right thing. And there's a lot of things. I think the reason why Trump is doing so well is there's a lot of things he says that are opening. And then we have a personality conflict with the way he does say the issues he has as a personality with people. But the concepts and the ideas of what he's like pulling out of USAID, which he did recently, and then finding out how corrupt that has been and how many billions of dollars have gone there, right? It's like, I'm glad he did that. But then he'll say something about it, which I'm like, why did you have to say that stupid thing? So he's got closings around interpersonal dynamics, because he has a real hard time with people attacking him, and he has been heavily attacked, and he can't help himself but lash out. But on a larger level, his system-based thinking about what the United States needs to recover, because we're broke. We're more than broke.
Oh yeah,
right. We're broke.
We have been since the dawn of time.
Yeah, exactly.
It gets bigger every year. It's
I
not
know, and
anybody's fault, right? Like you can't.
Well, I don't know. We've spent a lot of money.
But I mean, you just point a specific finger on a specific group. All right.
Yeah, that's true. But it's
stop giving money out, right? Keep the money here. Stop giving it out there. And then you can take down that deficit. But it's like it is so high. It will.
I know.
It's
well,
like,
I think we can do it. It's going to take. It's systematically. We've got to stop spending, and then we're going to have to see what we need to do to make that happen. But I do actually think that we could do it if we. It's more than tightening our belts. It's revitalizing what we produce. It's bringing it home, and it's because it's all about what we produce and being able to become viable on the world's scene again with our products and our creativity. And luckily, we have that in spades. We have the creativity,
we definitely do. We have that, but he can't cut out things like Medicare, Medicaid.
No, right.
For our elderly, stuff like that. You can't.
He's not, and that's not something that's happening. So that's all like, they say all kinds of stuff, but then when you actually get down there, it's like, no, that's not what was said. But you can cut out things. Like,
there's a lot of things that can be cut out. There's a lot of things. There are a lot of things. Okay, just for an instant, in Massachusetts, where I'm from, they have a thing. It's excise tax on a vehicle. Okay, yeah, you all got to pay your excise tax. You get a bill for it every single year. This does nothing, right? This just lines someone's pockets. It's not
Mm-hmm.
for a fund. It's not for anything. When you get rid of the car, you have to get an abatement, or you're still going to get bills, and then you're going to get penalized and all this kind of stuff, right? It's the only state that has this excise tax thing, right? We don't have it down here. You know, every state has a
Yeah,
different thing, right? And these are pointless taxes and pointless things, money going nowhere. Stop this kind of stuff,
I agree.
you know?
Yep. And it takes guts to do that. And it takes somebody from the outside. You can't do it from the inside because you're making money off of it if you're on the inside. That's the issue. So it's going to be interesting to see. But the one thing I want to say is, though, a lot of the things that if once you start learning to use your IGS, and it doesn't take long, you guys definitely, if you want to do this, let me know. I'll put you in the program. But you can feel other people's openings and closings. So you can tell if somebody is saying something to you and it's not true, they're closed in saying it. And you can feel it. You can physically feel when somebody else is closed and you're like, what he's saying isn't true. And they may not even know it's not true. Like the whole manipulation thing. I didn't know that, but they're believing it, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff that Trump says that are salutes. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
External influence.
Exactly. And there's a lot of things where when Trump does produce a solution, it's opening. He's open that it'll work, and other people are following it because they also are open that the solution will work. It would be lovely if it was in a more gentrified, elegant package, but it's not. So we just have to, like I said, my jury is out, and we'll have to see what good comes of it. But I do believe the ball's being moved in a good direction, at least.
Well, we did need a good shakeup. You know, there's no doubt about it, right? But it's just a little, again, the process thing. You know, you just can't come in and be the bull in the china shop. You know what I mean? You do it in a sense because, you know, you don't have all the time in the world, although let's hope he does make that, so change that. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
you just have to let people process a little bit. You know,
I know. It's true.
And
it's hard.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah. And, you know, I don't know. Like I said, my jury's out. I'm open that I don't know.
Well,
I'm open that we're going.
It's going to work out.
I'm open that we're going in the right direction and that we're going to have to course correct. And the biggest thing is that I would love for people to really hold is just because the election happened doesn't mean we are off watching our politicians. We got here because we're not paying attention. We got here because we're like, I don't want to deal with it. I'm going to be in my little life. And to watch the checks being cut over the past 4 years. And I'm not, it's just not a political thing. It's just, this is our country and our tax money. And they're not even asking us anymore.
No,
there's not even a vote. It's like 50 billion more, 50 billion more. And I'm like, when is it that we're going to step up and say, okay, we're not cashing we're not writing these. We're not backing your checks. You've got to stop.
Right.
You know, because that's what's breaking Medicare and that's what's breaking Social Security. And that's what you're like, what are you doing? Who's going to stop this? If your husband's my husband would say, no, you're not going to pay that $1 million check that you just wrote. We're not doing it, you know, and nobody's doing that. And we have got to get to a place where we have better checks and balances fiscally. How did that happen?
Yeah,
there's a Lutheran organization that they've spent since the 24 election. They got, and my number might not be right, but it's close to this. In 2 months, they were given $678 million. $678 million in the 2 months, and it's for immigration relief, refugee and immigration relief, and it's a Lutheran organization. That's more money than they've been given over the past 5 years. All of a sudden, was dumped on them. Where's that money really going? And it was Flynn. General Flynn came in and said, you've got to stop. He went to the Doge and said, you have to pay attention to this because they're pulling money out of our government so fast in that 2 month period, and we don't know where it went.
Wow.
So that's the thing where I'm like, how can that be happening?
Yeah, you would think we would have to jump through all these hoops to get that check written and approved.
That's right.
And double.
And what's it for? Refugee and immigration relief. What is that exactly going? What? Wait a minute. Aren't we?
It's too broad of a thing, right?
And in those 2 months,
Yeah.
before we could get Trump into office, they shoved that money through really fast. That's where I go, okay, guys, we've got to pay attention as citizens. We've got to pay attention.
Let me start from the beginning.
At the end of the show, you can go back and listen.
What's happening? No, I mean, but you're right on. You're right on the thing there. And that's what I mean about the country needs a shake up. It needs a audit. It needs a,
And I do think that out of all of our choices, he's, regardless of whether he's uncouth, he's somebody who will do that for us and at least get us and at least make us aware of what has been happening. And then hopefully that'll shock us into getting some better people into leadership. We need better leadership candidates.
Well,
that's the issue. We didn't have a choice.
People are afraid to run as you get so slammed. Every good politician that has ever run has gotten so slammed. So, whether it's true or not, if an allegation goes out there, that's what they're going to remember.
Amen, Kathy. I agree. Yeah.
So
common sense.
I look at it this way. I think that we may not like the way the ride is going, but we all know that we're going to get where it needs to be in the end. We just may not like how the driver drives.
Yes.
It's like, slow down, put the brakes on a little bit, back it up, just take your time. Don't, but some people are just like, because they can see it. The rest, everybody else can't. But it'll take us a long time, if ever. Some people will take a long time to get to see what they see. And my way of thinking, because again, there's me sitting on a fence. I may not like the man, and there's things that come out of his mouth that I think, do you seriously see these words that come out your mouth before they come out? Because if you would, But I think that I've always said, even when he was first elected, you don't have to like Trump, but his policies seem to be working. Yes. You don't have to like the man, but his ideas do have some kind of semblance to them.
I agree. I'm really happy he pulled us out of the World Health Organization, because the treaty that we signed, or it wasn't a treaty, but Biden signed something with the World Health Organization that gave them the right to be able to dictate our pandemic policies. And that really bothered me, because we don't know what they're going to demand from our government. And I don't want an outside government. We already have that going on with some organizations in the US. I don't want an outside organization calling the shots on how we're going to handle illness in this, a pandemic in our country. So pulling out of that, actually, I was very, very pleased with, for no other reason than I don't want somebody telling me what I need to do with my children if there's during a pandemic.
Yeah.
But
again.
Yeah, I mean, they're telling us it will, so I'm going to believe them. They're like, there's one coming. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to believe you this time, because you said that in 2017 too, and it happened by 2020. So I love you girls. This has been a great time.
I know we are at the end. I mean, I think we hit every subject on the planet tonight. Wow.
And what I like is Gina head didn't explode when we talked about what's his face.
Huh? What'd you say?
What I like is Gina's head did not explode when we talked about what's his face. Mr. Trump.
Well, because part of it's because we had some opening thoughts around it, which is, even though we don't like him and he's uncouth, there are things that are working that are important for now. And I don't know. And the thing is there wasn't anybody else on the scene that could do it. And that's part of the other thing. If we had other choices, then it would be a different conversation, but we really don't. And so I don't think we could keep going in the same direction that we were going in without really becoming even more broke.
Do you think people have become too dependent on government solving our problems? I would hate to say that that's true, but for the majority of people, I think it's true.
I don't. I'm going to say
I don't like that.
I agree with Kathy.
Personally.
Thank you. Thanks, Kathy. I think that we haven't become. I think that some people have, But I think we're seeing very quickly that they're not solving our problems when you look at the hurricane and things that that's happening in North Carolina, and the fires in LA and the fires in Maui, and how they're not taking care of FEMA and all these organizations, and the government's not doing things. I think that we have, how do I explain this? We act as if the government doesn't matter and that it can't affect us. That the choices that they're making will never get into our personal lives and our personal pocketbooks. And I think there's going to come a wake-up call. We're going to realize that there's been a bunch of things done that actually are going to affect us personally. And then we're going to say, wow, it's time really to actually take charge and pay attention.
Yeah.
And right now they've kept it above us from really impacting us, because if we got it, but it's going to start hitting, I think, soon, and we're going to realize what they got us into. And I think we're going to be really angry.
It's a transition. We're in transition.
It's a transition.
So how you take the transition is, like there's, oh my God, the fighting. That just has to stop. All right, because that doesn't help anything. It's not solving anything. It's not helping. Right? And we can have our issues, and we can have our, we don't like this and we don't like that. But you know what? Doesn't matter who's in there. You're not going to like this. You're not going to like that. But you're going to love this and you're going to love that. Right? It doesn't matter who that is. Give it a shot. See what happens.
Yep, and we're going to be taking care of one another, and I think that's the most important part, because that is what's happening in LA and the fires. That is what's happening, in North Carolina. And as long as we can keep the government out of making a mess, like for instance, they're kicking people off of land in North Carolina who are living in trailers. That's not okay. Yeah, they did take care of funneling the money for themselves, but they're kicking people, and they're trying to take people's children away if they're living in a camper in the North Carolina area with the floods. That's the stuff where we got to step up and say, government, no. We're not going to let you do that.
No,
we're not going to let you do that to us. So yeah, we've got a lot of work to do, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree.
Your book is going to help a lot of people. Yes. All right, let me put this back up here really quickly. Okay. freehuman.com. Go there. Go check out all these sites. Okay. www.internalguidancesystem.com. Okay. Fear-free mind experience.
That's our freebie course.
Freebie course, right. Be free, fearfreenow.com. And
that's it. Yes.
Sign up for her. Check her out. Go and her book here. All right. You can get an audio book, her regular book on Amazon Kindle. And, I love you. I love you.
I
love you.
Thank you guys.
This is a show that opened us up and made us think.
Good. Yay. Yeah. Well, I love you too. It's been so good to be here. You guys have a wonderful evening.
You too. I thank you very much, everybody. We don't have no show next week.
Well, my guest is in Chile, and then they're going to come back the day before the show, and they just said today, don't know if I'll be able to do the show. So, whether we do a reading show or whether we do, hey, maybe Raja. Listen to me, my mentors coming. Raja and Faye. We'll have them maybe. If they can. So we'll figure it out. But until then, ciao for now. We love you all. If you want to hang out for a minute, and I'm just gonna say bye to all you guys. Thanks for participating too, everybody.
Awesome chat.
Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D. We are here every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you a variety of guests or our own intuitive oracle card reading shows. We are streaming live on Facebook on my personal page and our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, on Mama D's YouTube channel, Angel Meadows, as well as our audio-only venues. We hope you enjoyed our show and our guest or your reading, and we would love it if you would go to our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, subscribe, share, and definitely hit that notification button to never miss a show. We'll see you all next week, and subscribers, watch for our pop-up shows as well.